Father Kearney shook his head. "That's the other odd bit. I've never seen him before in my life." A shiver ran through her. Kilbane was a small village where everybody knew everyone and their business. It was one of the things she loved about home. It was one of the things she hated about home. Could he be passed out from drink? A lad, or even lass, passing out from too many pints was not uncommon around Ireland. She threw a silent prayer of gratitude to the heavens that her older brother James had been out of alcohol's grip for over 3 years now. Father Kearney shook his head and glanced around as if he were afraid someone would overhear. "I heard a gunshot." His voice was a low whisper, but it hit Siobhan as if he'd been shouting. "There's a lot of blood." Gunshot? And this bit of news delivered a second jolt. He must be mistaken. Firearms were unheard of in Kilbane. Rare in most of Ireland, thanks be to God. The guards didn't even carry them. Her baton and a stern look were her only sanctioned weapons, and thanks to a hand mirror and hours of practicing, more often than not, the look was enough to do the trick. Although it was quite possible she'd perfected her penetrating gaze by raising her siblings. 4 younger ones, and a sometimes troubled older brother, had been some training all right. It was grand when you could funnel your life skills into your professional life. If she could just learn to bring down criminals with her brown bread, she'd be sorted. "Hurry!" Father Kearney gestured to her robe. "I have to call it in. The man might need to be taken to hospital." Siobhan turned to find her mobile phone when Father Kearney's hand reached out and gently squeezed her arm. "It's too late, pet," he said. "I checked. The poor creature has passed." Father Kearney crossed himself. God rest his soul. Was it self-inflicted? Suicides, sadly, were common. Siobhan ached for those who were in so much pain that they couldn't see any other way out. "It's possible. Although..." His eyes darted around again. "Although?" "I could have sworn I saw a figure running away from the cemetery." He rubbed his eyes as if to erase the image. "Father, why didn't you just call 999? "I told you. He's passed." "You know what I mean. Why didn't you call the station?" "Why do you think, Garda O'Sullivan?" A tingle rushed through her. Garda O'Sullivan. Garda Siobhan. Garda Siobhan O'Sullivan. She'd been doodling a variety of combinations for her new title, like lasses did with men they wanted to marry. And hers was more than a crazy daydream, for it was the new reality. Would she ever get used to it? Now that she was on the other side of it, it felt as if her 2 years at Templemore Garda College had come and gone in the time it took a carousel to go around. But so much had changed in 2 years. Here she was, on the brink of a new career. She never imagined it would be off to such an auspicious start. She immediately felt ashamed. A man was dead, possibly murdered. Common sense washed over her. "I can't just assign myself to a case, Father. I must call it in." Father Kearney frowned. "How do you know what you're calling in unless you give it a look-see first?" There was a message in his eyes. He wanted her to be the first to check out the scene. If she called it in, they wouldn't let a rookie like her anywhere near it. She was the newest member of the guards, so she would be given grunt work, not murder probes. She definitely should call it in. However, this desperate, early morning plea was coming from a priest. Surely one must listen closely to a man of the cloth. Father Kearney was well loved in Kilbane. He'd baptised her, presided over her first communion, heard her confessions, and most importantly, hadn't lectured her on her dwindling attendance. Would her superiors really blame her for following